All right, so today we're going to dive into a book called The Happy Path by Lawrence Maxwell. It makes a pretty big promise that a simple set of principles can actually be a powerful guide for your life. So, we got to see if it really delivers on that.
I mean, listen to this. A true blueprint for living a happy and meaningful life. That's a huge claim, right? It's the core promise of the whole book, and honestly, it's what hooked me right away. It makes you wonder, what could possibly be inside that lives up to a promise like that?
So, the main idea of the book is that happiness isn't some big, complicated secret you have to unlock. Nope. It's more like a path guided by some simple, timeless ideas. A kind of blueprint that pretty much anyone can follow.
And where does this blueprint come from? Well, it's built on something called the Pathfinder Pledge and Law. If you're not familiar, it's a set of ideals about character, service, and faith from a youth organization. But here's where Maxwell does something really smart. He doesn't treat them like these strict, stuffy rules you have to memorize. He totally reframes them as a practical, hands-on guide for your actual everyday life.
And that right there, that's the magic trick of this book. It takes what could just be words on a page and turns them into a real, livable philosophy. It swaps out the rigid rules for actual practical wisdom. And it takes these big, abstract ideas and connects them to everyday actions. And how does it do it? Through these amazing, touching, real-life stories.
Speaking of stories, man, that's really the heart of this book. It's the engine that makes the whole thing run. Because the stories are what make these lessons actually stick with you, long after you've closed the book. And there was one story in particular that just really got me.
So let me share this one story with you because I think it really gets to the heart of what this book is all about. It's not like the funniest one or the most action-packed. It's actually a pretty quiet story, but it's about one of those small moments that can end up defining who you are.
Okay, so the story is all about a choice. A simple choice, but a really tough one. The main character, a young person, finds something valuable, something that's not theirs. And here's the thing, nobody's around. No one would ever know if they just kept it. And they could really use it. It's that classic question we've all kind of faced, right? What do you do when nobody's watching?
And right in that moment, as they're hesitating, they remember something their grandfather told them. He said, the person you are in secret is the person you really are. Wow, that line just lands and it changes everything.
So, they do it. They make the hard choice and return the item. And the outcome, it's not what you'd think. There's no big reward, no parade, no one patting them on the back. The real reward was on the inside. It was this feeling of peace, just knowing they did the right thing. A quiet kind of happiness that, honestly, was worth way more than anything they could have kept.
So, okay, great story. But what's the lesson here? How does this little moment connect back to that big idea of a blueprint for happiness? Well, it all boils down to one simple, powerful principle.
That whole story is basically a real-life example of one line from the Pathfinder Law. Be pure, kind, and true. Now, the book makes it super clear this isn't about being some perfect, flawless person, because nobody is, right? It's about a commitment to making choices, especially those small, nobody-is-watching choices, that line up with the person you really want to be.
And the story just lays it out perfectly. Look at the process. Step 1. You're faced with a tough choice. Step 2, you listen to that little voice inside, your conscience. Step 3, you act with integrity. And boom, Step 4, you find this deeper, more real sense of happiness. It's a simple pattern, and it's something you can do over and over again.
And look, that one story is just one piece of the puzzle. The whole book is filled with stories like this. They all weave together to build this big, complete picture of what this philosophy looks like in the real world. And the author uses all sorts of stories to get the point across. Seriously, some of them are clever and will make you laugh out loud. Others are so touching, they'll really make you stop and think. But every single one of them is there for a reason. To explore these big life topics like character, faith, and responsibility in a way that just feels, real and super relatable.
And at the end of the day, that's the whole point. These stories aren't just for fun. They're basically tools for you to grow. They're designed to make you think about your own choices and really ask yourself, hey, what actually matters in my life?
Okay, so we've looked at what the book is about, we've seen how it uses stories. And all of this kind of brings the spotlight back around to us, doesn't it? It gets you thinking about your own path, your own journey. If I had to boil it all down to one big idea, it would be this. Your values, they aren't just things you think about.
They come to life in the little choices you make, day in and day out. They're literally the plot points of the story of your life.
And that really leaves us with a big question, doesn't it? This book, The Happy Path, it offers one possible blueprint. But ultimately, we're the ones building our own lives. So I guess it's worth asking yourself, what principles are guiding your path? And what kind of story are you building?